call out.
Jeff,
Game on.
Brakes,
No filters.
Mahogany,
Wham wham wazzle.
Terrence,
No catchphrase.
and me.
Focus.
You know, a guy at work today said he was trying to come up with nicknames for people, and he said, "What would you want your nickname to be?" And I went, "You know, my name is a nickname, right?
I'm not really named
I'm
Toker.
not Toker." He's like, "I know, but like, if you had a nickname," I was like, "I have one. It's you know it."
You should have said Chris.
Yeah, call me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, he said, "Well, then what's your real name?" And I said, "None of your goddamn business."
You should have come up with some weird shit like Sling Dick McNasty or something.
No, it was too hot at work to be very creative.
Somebody annoying asked me an annoying question yesterday, and I answered it in an annoying way, like it deserved. But it was such an annoying person that they didn't quite like take the hint to buzz off. Yeah, they asked me what I did for a living, which isn't really an annoying question unless an annoying person is asking it because they want to elaborate on what they do.
I disagree. I was going to say, I feel like it's always an annoying question.
I told them I did pet taxidermy, and they're like, "Oh, wow, that sounds neat. For real?" I'm like, "No, I'm lying."
Oh,
You should have said human taxidermy.
Now, you got to make it outlandish but mildly believable.
People pay to have their loved ones stuffed.
that was on Jackass in the early 2000s,
No.
where Johnny Knoxville was taking his quote unquote grandmother around to taxidermy shops and asking what they could do with her remains once she passed. And most of them justly said, "Please leave the store."
Yeah.
And one of them said, "Well, I mean, you know, we'd have to make sure that we had all the
Legal permission.
legal stuff, you know."
We're gonna skin this old bat.
I just want to get my grandmother stuffed and mounted after she passed, and here she is. And the woman said, "Oh, hello."
Maybe she was just mentioning legal stuff as if to say to this old lady, like, "Do you need me to call the cops? What's going on?"
No, they were getting into details on the, like, here's how it is with a deer, but the human face has a lot more like modes of expression than a deer. And they were like, you know, what kind of expression, you know, and like, this is all if we could make sure that this, you know, county codes are cleared.
Wow.
That we could stuff your grandmother.
That person has given that some thought.
Oh yeah, they were very excited that somebody else, a future willing participant.
They're like, "I would have done it for free, but since you're willing to pay."
Yeah.
Now, that
I do
person
this
has been
in my
waiting their
spare
whole
time.
life for that question.
They just do that in their spare time.
So people have a lot of different facial expressions. So what I've done here is I've lined up 18 trash pandas, and these are kind of the emotes I can give your grandmother.
Speaking of taxidermy, I did see that someone put a dog's mouth on a stuffed deer head.
Oh, I saw that one. That was funny.
It is, not a dog's mouth, not a real dog's mouth, but like the dog mouth shape, where it stretches back.
And the teeth.
And the teeth. It is horrifying. If that's what deer really look like, I'd be out there shooting them too.
So like the Evil Dead deer?
Kinda, yeah. A little bit.
Kinda, yeah.
But, you know, cleaner.
Yeah.
More professionally done.
More professionally done. Less giggly.
I
Yeah.
like giggly mounted deer heads. It's in my backstory.
Okay.
Yeah, why didn't they ever make a Billy Buckhead like they did the Billy Big Mouth Bass?
Oh, Jesus Christ. That thing would be expensive as shit.
It'd be expensive.
I mean, people would buy it, but it'd be expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, just program it to saying I'm proud to be an American or some shit, and they would just nom 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 nom.
Maybe it exists in this world, the one we're playing in.
Well, maybe your character just invented something.
You know, if Cyber Sasquatch dies, just be Mr. Taxidermy, a superhero who creates robotic taxidermies.
Taxidermist.
He's like a shitty necromancer. It's
Actually, I was thinking Cyber Squad should come back as Cyber Rudolph.
No. If Cyber Squatch dies, I'm gonna come back as Yowie Kablowie, his Australian shaman cousin.
You're going with the name I suggested in Discord?
It was the best fucking name, dude.
I thought about it exactly 4 seconds before I went, yeah, here you go.
I have thought about it every day since.
Well,
Because I mean, you say it in an Australian accent, and it's Yowie Kablowie. It's just
yeah,
that's a superhero name if I've ever heard it.
I win.
Okay, I don't want anyone to criticize the names I come up with for this campaign.
We haven't yet.
I know.
Yes. I mean, the Agitator was a great, terrible name.
I'm still picturing that washing machine thumbnail.
It was a lot better than Hitachi or the Vibrator.
Vibrator.
I am the magic wand.
What was the sidekick's name from Orgasmo? Soda Boy. There you go.
You can call me the Sibian.
How about I don't?
Yeah.
Boy. All right. So when we last left off, you guys had ducked back in to the home base back in West Virginia to drop off Silver Streak after encouraging him to stop his speeding rampage through the countryside.
His ineffectual crusade.
Well, yeah, basically. We'll pick up from about let's say 20 minutes later. Back at the meeting room, you guys have gotten a little bit of a refreshment, cooled off after leaving the Nevada heat, and Adam flies into the meeting room, solemnly closing the door behind him. He sits down on the long table. Man, he's pretty messed up. All right, so we need to hurry on this one. I think since it's going to Chicago, we should probably strike fast, get to the scene of the crime, find out what we can, and get out of there as quickly as possible. You don't want to get too wrapped up in local politics.
That sounds fair enough.
Do's and don'ts.
Do gather as much evidence as you can. Don't rile up the police too much. They will come pre-riled, but further riling discouraged.
Or the police basically
On the take.
a separate gang unto themselves.
I mean, aren't most cops, but yeah, especially in Chicago.
Yeah.
The only reason we have this information is because one of the local boys, the few local boys around there that do, our kind of work, tipped us off. So if we're lucky, we might beat the cops there. They're not really good at responding to crimes.
So this hasn't been reported or called in or anything right yet?
Not as far as I know. I mean, that might have changed. You've been here a few minutes. We've only had this. How long have we had this, Duncan? Duncan looks at his watch. About 45 minutes. Right. Duncan also says, and I've tracked down some reports. It looks like Silver Streak was going from prison to prison over in probably pretty much over the entire West Coast and doing quickie shakedowns of people he thought might be involved. There is camera footage. I think this might turn out to be kind of a PR problem for the Crusaders. Adam rolls his eyes and says, "Hear that? PR problems. PR fucking problems." Guy is desperate to find out who murdered his family, and it's a PR problem, Duncan. Hey, I'm just trying to be practical.
What a world we have made. And I will pull on my trench coat and fedora.
All right.
Can we get a layout of the zoo where we're going? And 'cause
Sure.
I need electrical outlets.
Right. Don't worry. It's in the Lincoln Park Zoo. It is brought up on the screen. There's like, you'll be going to the gorilla enclosure.
That's why it's not a big hubbubaloo right now, because it's animals.
It's animals.
It's animal
As far as-
cruelty, not murder or homicide.
As far as anyone knew, anyway.
Right.
like-
Right. I'm not saying that as Cyber Squatch. I'm saying that as me. Understanding it was like 45 minutes. The cops damn sure should be there, but I get it now. We're going to a zoo.
You're going to a zoo, and
Ugh,
let's
don't
see.
like the idea of those things.
So this is a retelling of Harambe, or
If Harambe was actually the handsome gorilla in Japan, I can't remember his name right now.
yeah,
Some gorilla.
there is a handsome gorilla. In
I
Japan.
remember.
You better remember, because he remembers you.
All right, kids, scatter. Get busy. Find our perp. Things are only going to get more dangerous from here if we don't hurry.
Teleport.
All right.
Making a portal or just teleporting yourself?
Portal.
Okay.
It's a thumbs up from Cyber Squatch.
It's a relatively short hop from West Virginia to Chicago, at least as far as your teleportation range goes. And the portal opens up on the closing hours of the daytime. The vision you see as you come through, and indeed all around you, is of park goers heading out. Some of them looking a little confused. A few of the parents looking angry. You hear them grumbling, I paid for the full day. I don't know why they got to evacuate the place over some sort of escape. When you hear an announcement going on, where we apologize to the park patrons, please make your way to the exit. We are having technical issues that need to be dealt with by professionals. And so you see people streaming out. You guys basically begin moving in the opposite direction. The crowd giving you, well, let's see. Everybody here looks marginally normal, except for Cosmic Knight, who it looks like a knight.
RoboCop.
Cyber Squatch, wearing his trench coat and fedora, has not super effectively disguised himself, but definitely discouraged people from looking too close.
Yeah, I pull my hat down way over my brows.
Okay.
So all it looks like is just trench coat collar and hat with shadows underneath.
You just look like a really big guy in a really big coat.
Did
I'm-
Bubblegum have time to change after the desert?
Oh, you've had 20 minutes, so I mean, is that a no for your character?
Oh no, that's plenty time. She's quick with it.
Okay.
She's a quick change artist.
Mm-hmm.
You're always building outfits in your mind, so that way you ain't got to go flipping through shit. All right.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you've had time to change. Everyone had time to freshen up before they got here. And eventually you hear a whistle from a corner.
Look over at the corner.
You see another man in a trench coat and a fedora wave you away from the walkways.
Make way.
We go to him, yeah.
You with the Crusaders.
Mm-hmm. We sure are.
He he turns toward you, and you see a person whose entire body is sort of got a metallic sheen to it. On brass knuckle. He extends a hand to whoever.
I'll shake his hand.
Found it.
Thanks for coming so quick. I don't know if they've called the cops in on this one. Oh, actually, they probably have called the cops in on this one, but I don't know if they've gotten here yet. I'm not close with the people who work here at the zoo, but I know a guy who knows a guy who can get us into the enclosure. They're keeping people well away from it. I got told that you can open portals.
Yes.
All right. He leads you down around a circuitous route through the zoo, and he points to a building. He's like, you can see like a lot of like park employees basically just moving people away from the enclosure. They're roping the area off. And he says we need to get in there, the observation building. From there we can get to the scene of the crime, I guess.
I will look for electrical outlets in there.
All right, yeah, you feel a couple electrical outlets.
Electrical outlets or cameras, because I can go to any of those.
All right. Well, yeah, there are definitely cameras in there, and you basically can see where you need to go through the cameras, and you can but it also puts you like directly in visual contact with a scene of horror. When you open your portal in there, everyone else can see it as well. You step through, and what you see is several gorillas that have been chopped up, just sliced and diced, not just cut and killed, but like limbs lopped off, beheaded, utterly eviscerated. But you also can quickly see that there had been a fight here. There are bullet holes everywhere, and some of the bullet holes are still kind of like giving off little puffs of steam. Brass Knuckle turns to you and says, like, I knew Six Gun Gorilla lived here. He was kind of retired. And he begins walking through the scene of violence. Here, I'll show you the body.
First of all, send the drones out.
All right. Yeah, you said
absolutely horrifying.
Yeah, it's horrifying. It is a scene of pure mindless violence. And your drones quickly spread out over the park area, and it doesn't take long as you're walking towards the body that Brass Knuckle wants to show you, that you can see a mob of cops walking their way through the park.
I'll give us a countdown of when the cops will get here.
You're guessing you got like 2-ish minutes.
Let's get as much information as possible.
All right. Brass Knuckle takes you over to the body of a much larger than the rest gorilla with his silvery back hair is drenched in blood. 3 of his 4 limbs are cut off, and you can see on the one remaining arm there is a massive old-fashioned Western revolver still clutched in the ape's hand.
Take a peek.
Yeah, and can while he's looking at the gun, can I be looking at the wounds and cataloging them and like forensic shit, see what kind of weapon did
Sure.
this?
Everybody give me perception or investigation, whichever one you want. Let me know which.
Perception for old Cosmic Knight. Hey, let's say 23.
23. All right. How about the rest of you?
8 with a natural 1.
Okay.
22 perception for bubblegum.
All right. And how about you?
Investigation, 18 plus 19.
Okay. All right. Your investigation basically rebuilds in your mind, and actually with help from going over some of the footage, the encounter. It looked like whoever it was, a fully masked figure wielding 2 long katanas, basically appear in the gorilla enclosure.
Terrence, real quick.
Huh?
Can I just make a suggestion here?
Sure.
Since the cops are on the way so quickly, can we scan this area and get this information as much as possible and get back out of here?
Sure. Yeah.
And then we can reconstruct this later on.
All right. Then you you get as much information as you can. The 3 of you, Cyber Squatch, given the swiftness of the investigation, you are unable to determine anything yourself. Though the only thing you can immediately ascertain is these apes had no real chance to even fight back, given the defensiveness of the stances and their wounds.
Yeah, I'm too distracted by how horrible this is.
Cosmic Knight and Bubblegum, you guys notice the same thing almost immediately. There are bullet holes everywhere. There are slash marks that cut through concrete, plexiglass, and whatnot all around you. But you both your eyes are drawn to a series of regular bullet holes in a irregular pattern along the ceiling, at right above the dead ape, 6 Gun Gorilla. It looks like it might have even been his last mortal act, was to fire this pattern of bullets into the ceiling. Cosmic Knight, you also can tell that the weapon he is holding is, despite its like old-fashioned earth design, is not necessarily an Earth weapon. You can sense that it is some kind of alien technology. Brass Knuckle turns to you and says, do you really want to leave that here? He points to the gun. I know it's got something special about it. Everyone knew that, but
It probably needs to be retrieved.
Brass Knuckle goes to touch it. And he's like,
I'll float
it. I don't really want to. All right.
I'll float it out of the way.
Is it the only gun?
It is the only gun.
So all the bullets that we've seen around were made by that gun?
Yeah. Brass Knuckle says, yeah, he never had to reload. It was just always loaded.
Huh. And the, like what we see on the ceiling, it's in a odd configuration. Like if we connect the dots, does it look like something? Or are we going to do that later?
Actually, let's see. What is the... Oh, shoot. Damn it, I don't have my thing open. What is the basic knowledge check here? I forgot. Fuck.
Technology's a knowledge check, I think.
It's not technology.
Forensics would be expertise.
Yeah, there's expertises.
Or investigation. Investigation is more along the lines of you discovering something, like a detective. And then expertise could be using a specialty skill to figure something out.
Actually, I think this falls into the... I think this will give me a general intelligence check. It won't be hard.
15 plus 9.
15. Once they point it out after you're getting your hard evidence, Defrag, you recognize it immediately as American Braille.
Okay.
It is a 3-letter word. It says Fox.
Was there someone on the Silver Streaks team? Something Fox? Somebody named Fox?
Yes, there was, and in fact, that was the name. Fox was the lone name of the 5th member of that team. The Extreme Squadron's leader, a costume adventurer and investigator named Fox.
Who was a lady who fell off the grid.
Yeah.
Right?
No one has seen or heard from Fox in years.
Anything else that we need to do in this room right this minute before the cops come?
Brass Knuckle says, if you're heading out, you mind giving me a lift?
Absolutely. Come on.
You hear the doors begin to slam open as the local police are basically bullying the staff. Come on, let us in. Gonna see a bunch of dumb dead monkeys. They're apes, sir. I don't give a fuck what they are. You say as you teleport out. Where are you taking Brass Knuckle?
First of all, I'll take him back to the Institute, our home base, and then I can take him anywhere else he wants to go.
All right. You arrive back at the Drake Manor once again, not with Brass Knuckle in tow. He looks around. He's like, "Whew, swell digs you Crusaders have," and you get a sort of I guess the cat version of an arched eyebrow from Adam when you see him walk in. Like, you guys just starting a collection today?
Well, first of all, we appreciate his help, and I thought the best would be for us all to get out of there as quick as possible. And then, if he has any more information before we take him to his next destination, wherever he wants to go, we can get the information.
He nods and says, "Well, I'm really interested in solving this. I talked with Six Gun Gorilla a lot. Like, I would come here and we would talk to each other across the enclosure. You know, he didn't really talk. And you see, Brass Knuckle start to sign. You know, you can have a conversation at a pretty good distance."
Okay, well, where would you like to go?
That depends on what your clues lead to be honest with you guys.
Well, let's spin it up. Go out back where we got enough area to open up, and then spin up. Get Minerva to spin up her diagrams, and we'll do the hollow sphere type thing, hollow world.
All right. You want a 2D or 3D rep?
3D rep, please.
The white area that defrag chooses basically fills up with first glowing digital code that sort of settles itself into a mildly glowing version of the scene you saw before, this time with a bunch of digital facsimiles of living gorillas. She said, Minerva says, I had to do a little cleanup. These are very old cameras, but I think I've been able to fill in the blank spots with probably 95% accuracy. Is that good enough, Chief?
That should be good.
I'll start the simulation. The simulation begins running. The gorillas are just doing, normal gorilla things in their enrichment area.
Throwing their boo-boos at people.
Huh?
Throwing their boo-boos at people.
Throwing their boo-boos, sometimes charging the gates or charging the separation barrier. Just doing gorillas in a zoo kind of thing. When suddenly a man dressed entirely in what the hologram is interpreting as black and green appears with blades in hand and begins moving at an unnervingly fast pace, chopping up gorilla after gorilla baby after gorilla baby. Like these are like the whole of the enclosure is dead in under a minute, and then suddenly charging out from the interior of the enclosure where the gorillas can retreat to when they're feeling overwhelmed or irritated or whatever, is the massive form of Six Gun Gorilla. He's looking around. He's doing a normal like gorilla stance. He beats his chest aggressively, and then you see his face. His eyes open up quite large, and he realizes what's going on. He stands on his hind legs, and then you see him reach into like thin air around his side and draw out, as if an invisible holster, a massive Western revolver. And he begins just start firing at the guy who is coming over him, charging at him with the blades. The fellow with the blades is deflecting the bullets with his blade work. Six Gun Gorilla manages to disarm him with one. You see a splash of blood spray across the gorilla enclosure as one of the blades goes flying into the ditch in front of the enclosure, and you see people on the edge of the simulation backing away, running for their lives. This is happening in broad daylight.
So we missed the sword and the blood splatter that could have led us in the right direction.
The melee continues as now with one single sword, the fellow is cradling an arm and moving towards Six Gun Gorilla, who is basically like being outsped by the guy until finally one of his arms is sliced off as he's trying to whip around him, trying to put a bead on him. The arm holding the gun is sliced off, and he reaches out with the other arm, snatches the gun out of his own dismembered hand, and begins firing again, this time hitting the perp in the leg, but not in enough time to save his own legs, which are sliced off completely. He falls backwards holding the gun, and then heaves himself with the one arm, rolling back into the interior of the enclosure where the ceiling is. You see the bleeding assassin take stock of the situation, look at all the blood, and basically he bounds back, leaps down the trench that keeps the gorilla separate from the patrons, grabs his sword, and disappears in a teleportation. The last thing you see on the simulation is Six Gun Gorilla's body just gushing blood, leg in the enclosure. He shakily lifts the gun up, and then his hand steadies and he fires into the air about a dozen times before his arm falls limp and he dies.
So with his final breath, final action, he wrote the name Fox in the ceiling of his enclosure. Now, is that an accusation? Is that concern? What do you think, Brass Knuckles? You knew him better than the rest of us.
Knuckles looks up at the symbols, the braille holes on the ceiling, and says, "Is that what that says? Fox? Ah, damn."
The fact that she hasn't been heard from in a while. is a bit concerning.
Yeah, she quit a little after they broke up. She was as far as I know, the oldest member of the team at the time. Probably about getting up towards 50. That was what, 30 years ago? She's probably nearly 80 at this point.
She was a normal person, correct? Just very vastly intelligent.
She was massively intelligent. She still had a lot of, she still had a lot of fight in her, as far as I could tell, at least. And Six Gun was always saying she was nearly as good a shot as him.
Any bad blood?
Not that I know of. I mean, they broke up over some reason, but that was never really public, and he never really talked about it. He did blame. The only thing I ever got at him was he blamed that young punk, but that could have been either of the two guys,
Which ones again?
Silver Streak or Blue Bolt. Like, they were both in their teens in 99. Surprised they even got on a superhero team, to be honest with you.
Blue Bolt fires energy weapons, yes?
Yeah, he's a gadget guy, rocket boots, lightning guns, that whole thing.
Gadgets. Would gadgets account for the speed that
Maybe.
we're witnessing here?
Yeah,
some
does
speed-
anybody have any? Does anybody know anybody with this power set? Who is this?
I mean, you hear you hear Adam pipe up. He's like, "Yeah, I don't know about the teleportation and stuff, but the speed and the combat ability. There's a lot of like straight fighter guys that can manage that just with mystic martial arts or just general training with a little dose of super strength. That stuff. That's a pretty common power set as far as the fighting goes. Like, as far as the teleportation, though, Minerva, can you get your Minerva to run that back?
Yeah. And she can listen. She'll do whatever Adam asks.
Okay. Minerva, run it back to the teleportation just before. I want to see what he's doing. The simulation rewinds a bit to when the assassin, presumably this edgelord, leaped down the trench, grabbed a sword, and you can see him with his good arm sheath his weapons briefly, and then he puts his arm down by his side, and you see him quickly touch something on his thigh. Looks like he's got a doodad down there doing that teleportation for him.
That looks like tech. Does anybody know if Fox had children?
Brass Knuckle says, "I'm afraid that's a bit out of my wheelhouse, but I'm going to go ask around in the city. Like, Chicago used to be their turf. Somebody's bound to know something there. I'll get back to you if you can teleport me there." And he gives you a street to teleport you there that should be safe. And you're able to find some outdoor outlets behind a deep dish pizza restaurant or whatever. I don't know. It's all deep dish pizza restaurants as far as I know.
As far as the eye can see.
With sauce on top of the cheese.
Sauce on top of the cheese. What kind of abomination is that? Adam chimes in as you teleport Brass Knuckle to the location. He's like, "I'll get in contact with your guy. What's his name? Duncan?
Yeah.
I'll let you know what I find." He gives you a cheeky salute, and you can hear his arm clang against his forehead, and your teleportation portal closes. All right, so let's see. Let's review. We got this. We got 2 leads we can follow.
Well, we have leads. We're not sure how well we can follow them. Following up any lead on Fox seems like a fool's errand unless we have a medium or a psychic tracker. None of us have those abilities.
Yeah, there's also the other lead we got that did not seem promising at the time, but
Blue Bolt. Is that what you're referring to?
No, they told you that one of the other members of the team was cut up 3 years ago. Mr. Sticks, an undead superhero.
Oh, that's right.
His body was taken away by a mystic practitioner named Paracelsus the Sorcerer.
Do we have any information about Blue Bolt?
Adam says, "Yeah, Blue Bolt's actually on our roster. Like, let me think. Duncan, where we got Blue Bolt? Can you locate him?" You hear Duncan come across the comms. Yeah, he's still in the hospital as far as I know after he got back from space. Well, there you go.
About his family?
We put some people on him. They're keeping a watchful eye as far as we know. He's been calling headquarters pretty frequently. He wants them moved off planet. But if we did that for every hero family in danger, we'd have a whole friggin' colony now, wouldn't we?
Sure.
But if you guys want to talk to him, it's easy to arrange. I'll give you his room number.
Do we want to split up, quote unquote? Excuse me. So we send a couple people to go talk to Blue Bolt, get information, see if we can find out what happened to the team, why they broke up, and then someone else can follow leads about trying to get in touch with Styx.
Oh, yeah, sounds fine to me. What do you guys want to do? Who's doing what and where?
I would like to be on the team going to Mr. Styx because I feel like the Magical Society might be somewhat interested
Okay.
in a Sasquatch. So that might be a foot in the door. And also, I don't want to be walking around hospitals.
Gotcha.
They have a bit more scrutiny than zoos.
Okay.
Well,
Cosmic
depending on
Knight.
the hospital.
Cosmic Knight, where would you like to go?
I'm not really set up for investigating either way.
Either am
So
I.
you should probably pair me off with somebody smarter.
Is Defrag our only brain in this group, or does Bubblegum have some smarts?
I mean, she's like not dumb, but
But
that's
you
not
do-
her strong suit.
Adam steps up and says, yeah, but you got a certain amount of charisma to you. How would you like to interview our hospital-bound guy?
Yeah, that he's not hostile, so
He's on your side. He's just in the hospital.
y'all just gotta just get information from him.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not smart or charismatic, so I need to go wherever there might be a chance of violence.
Okay, then you probably need to go back to Chicago with Brass Knuckle.
Oh, then yeah, definitely. Send me to Chicago.
All right.
So are we following up leads in Chicago, or are we going after Mr. Styx?
We're splitting the party.
Or is Mr. Styx in Chicago?
No, Mr. Styx is a whereabouts unknown. You're technically looking for Paracelsus, the sorcerer.
Right, that's what I mean. Is he based out of Chicago?
No, but there are mystic practitioners you can visit there, and Adam will hook you up with one if you guys want to teleport in together and then split up.
And I don't know. So that would mean Defrag and Bubblegum would be going to the hospital. Cyber Squatch and Cosmic Knight would be shaking down the local magic folks, or are we sending Bubblegum by herself to the hospital?
You know what? Let's just all go together.
Okay.
That makes a lot more sense.
I mean,
You're our only investigator right now.
I was just trying to make things simpler, and it turned out way too complicated. So let's just go.
All right.
Get information from the guy at the hospital. Let's get that done.
Okay. The address Adam gives you is actually it's basically in the ruins of the old base in Colorado. It's a town called New Swisslakia, where the old base was. But mostly it was just the old base that was destroyed. A lot of the support buildings are still intact, including the medical center for the heroes. And so you actually have been there before. It's no problem to teleport there for you. And when you open up onto the streets, and you can see a lot of work getting done here in New Swisslakia as you step out of your portal. A lot of you see that the blasted, shattered ruins of the old Crusaders of Justice basically main base, which used to be just a massive complex dedicated to the goals of the Crusaders. Now, shatter ruins being cleaned by a variety of heroes who are volunteering, heroes and normal people who are volunteering their time to get it restored. You see people flying around under their own power, like moving rubble and things like that. In addition to standard construction equipment. And you, as you're moving down away from that area towards the building, which houses like the medical center, which was only mildly damaged, and you see that has mostly been patched up by now. You are greeted at the door by, let me see, hold on. Who's going to greet you today here at the main base? Okay. You're greeted at the door by a scrawny, beaky-nosed guy wearing a trench coat and a fedora who's looking up at you. Oh, East Coast, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
I'm the Buzzard. He sticks out his hand. He's like a rail thin. He's like he as physically speaking, he lives up to his name. He's a rail thin guy, over large nose. You begin to think it's a prosthetic, like it's a disguise. Just the way that his look is so exaggerated. You're here to investigate those murders, right?
Something along that line.
His Coke bottle thick glasses look up at you, and he's like, Good. I've got my plate pretty full, but I'd like to run something by you. My sources, he winks, tell me you guys stumbled across something interesting online that I'd like to talk to you about later, if possible.
All right.
I assume you're here to see Blue Bolt. He's well, you probably know where he is. He nods and heads out. Like, I gotta go talk to some folks. It's good to meet you. Good to see you again. He struggles from a cosmic night, right?
That's right.
Yeah. You were there with that hospital collapse, right?
Yeah. What now? Yeah.
Okay, well.
That's what I was on the last team for that one time.
Good luck with that. I'm gonna go.
Real
Nice
quick,
to meet you.
do we know do I know any information about this guy?
After he identifies himself, you recognize his name. He is a hero in the Master Detective Department. Like he basically has no powers other than solving crimes, but he's
Okay.
particularly good at it.
Yeah, I didn't fit in
He's
with
like-
her either.
He's like one of the as far as heroes go on power level, he's not super powered, but he is got a powerful mind.
He's a Dick
But-
Grayson.
Yeah, they keep him busy, is what he's trying to tell you, though. And so as you are ushered in and told where to escorted to the room, you see Blue Bolt's room. You see there's the door is open. You see a guy wearing. He's mostly in traction. He like a lot of his bones have been broken. He is like hanging in bed. He is sitting there seething. It's just a sort of a guy in his mid 40s. Still got dark black hair with little graying temples. He looks up at you and says, "Holy moly, they sent the goon squad to finish me off. Oh, Jesus." That was a joke. You can laugh.
Oh,
No, I'm just saying what it would take to finish you off. And
Probably a stiff
I was like,
wind at this point.
and that's a joke.
You see, he nods. He's like, I don't suppose you're here to give me good news.
No, we just want as much information as possible about your old team.
Oh.
Like why y'all broke up.
Oh. Wait, which old team? Oh, wait. Never mind. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Extreme.
Sorry. I took a lot of hits to the head when I was in space and a lot of hits to everywhere else.
And while he's doing that, can I use medical skill to find out what is wrong with him and if there any of our healing abilities can actually be used on him to bring him back to a certain level, help speed his recovery up?
Sure. Go ahead and roll that, I guess.
The medical or healing.
Give me the medical.
All right.
well, I could actually do that. I just always assumed that my medicine is it is a power. Probably not actually a knowledge.
Treatment's the skill.
Yeah, okay.
And
I don't
that
have
just kinda gives
treatment.
you information. So 19 plus 4.
All right. It's no problem really to figure out what's wrong with him. You just look at his chart at the end of the bed, but your medical training has made it pretty clear what it says. He is, in addition to a number of broken bones, a lot of internal injury. He also absorbed like several types of different cosmic radiation of known and unknown varieties. You look over the contraption where he's hanging up, and on closer inspection, you see that there are a lot of tubes coming in and out of the bandages, where chemicals are being pumped in, and blood is being dialyzed through. He has a lot wrong with him.
I will create a tablet and tell him take one and let me know how this makes you feel.
Okay. What is the
Oh.
tablet?
This is my healing ability.
All
Healing
right.
consumable. So it's that is 28. Yeah. And the DC is a 10. So each degree of success will heal one damage condition, starting with the subject's worst condition and working down.
All right. The and the DC is what?
10.
He has to beat the DC for it to work.
No, I have to beat it.
Okay.
The
All right.
DC is 10, so every degree of success above that, I rolled a 13 plus 15, 28.
Okay.
So 18 is how many degrees is the degree thing you can figure out.
Well, 20 has to be like what, 4 degrees? Or wait, what is the degree booster? 4? 5?
I think it's every
Yes.
5 degrees,
So yeah, that would be
3.
yeah. He says, well, I don't normally take pills unsolicited. They do have medical professionals here, but if it'll get me out of this harness as quickly as possible, I will definitely not rat you out. He takes the pill and he holds it on his tongue. He's like, I don't suppose anybody wants to give me a sip of water. I thought,
I'll pour him a cup of water from the water jug on the side of the bedstand.
thank you. I never could swallow a pill dry. He swallows the pill down, and you guys hear a sort of a crackling noise.
Like electricity?
Huh?
Like electricity crackling?
No, like
Oh.
like bones resetting and sealing in a kind of a gruesome way. His face contorts into pain briefly, and then is given the most amazing sense of relief as he like reaches out with his fingers and begins undoing straps, and he puts his arms down by his side, and and you see him flex a little bit, and the casts start popping.
Don't do too much until they get another exam on you.
He's like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm still loaded up with all kind of radiation. I'm probably here for the long haul still." But you have made this a much more pleasant video visit. What can I do you kids for?
We're here for information.
Right. So
we need to know about why Extreme broke up and where we can find Fox.
oh, he's like, "Oh, Fox, you looking for her? Man, that's tough."
We're looking for all of your teammates because many of them have been killed. Well, one of them has been killed and one of them has been dismembered and one of their families has been killed.
Yeah.
Not to put too fine a point on it.
Don't worry. It's been weighing on my mind too. My people tell me my people are protected, but you never know. Fox, well, okay, here's the story. Back when I was a young punk, me and Silverstreak, we were buddies, you know? We were like maybe a year apart. I was 15 going on 16. He was 16 going on, I don't know, angry. And but you know, we did pretty well as a duo starting out until like this trio, I suppose, of heroes saw us and decided they can use the extra muscle. Six Gun was a good guy for an ape, you know, like too good. Like he spent years doing trick shots at a circus before he got his gift. He gives a finger quotation. That weird gun of his. He was obviously like smarter than a normal gorilla to start with, but the gun like gave him more human intelligence, and so once he decided to, leave showbiz, as it were, and join up with Mr. Styx. I think that's the one who he rescued him, essentially. They joined up with Fox and started doing, crime busting. Six Gun hardly ever killed anybody. He would use trick shots to put people down in a non-lethal way, or if he had to, he'd plug him in the knee. Sometimes you have to go there. Styx was a guy who died in like the 30s and was after the fella that killed him, but I think that ship had long been sailed by the time we met in the 90s. Like if you die in your 30s, in the 30s, chances are the person that killed you might not be kicking around in any like vengeance oriented sense. So, he's basically a revenant with no one to revenant on. And since what got him killed was being like maybe the 1930s only clean cop, he just sort of kept doing that. And Fox, well, she was sort of a different animal, like we never knew who she was. She never took off her mask. She never really hung out with us. She just signed us up for the team. She would show up, give us our mission. And when we were done, she'd split whatever pay she got, a reward, go about her life, whatever the hell it was. Like the only person I think she ever really confided in was probably Styx. I think he might have known her before. What broke the team up was, well, remember the thing I said about Styx not ever really having a chance to find out who killed him and get that revenge that he basically was supernaturally keeping himself alive for.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out that unlikely scenario came true, and we stumbled across this guy in a nursing home while we were on a separate case, and suddenly Styx flips out. His eyes start glowing. His skin, which is normally a little green, he didn't smell bad or nothing, starts to just peel and rot. He turns into like the most nightmare-inducing kind of zombie you've ever seen in your life. And he charges across the little garden area where all these oldsters are sitting around having their coffee in the morning. He bites the head open of some geezer and literally starts eating his brain right there in front of everybody. We're there to solve a crime. So like the four of us have to put him out. We have to he's covered in like brain, he's covered in blood, he's covered in everything. He's covered in a dead man. And I'm firing lightning guns into this nursing home and these people are packed in. They can't flee quick. Sometimes some bolts went a little stray. Quicksilver, I mean, not Quicksilver, Silver Streak didn't have a lot of room to maneuver. And Mr. Styx, he got real fast, real quick. Like whatever had flipped his trigger, turned on the most powers I've ever seen anyone get in such a short period of time. Like we didn't even know he could do half the shit he could do. Like he ripped the roof off the low impact aerobics pool that this place had, ripped the whole roof off, and we had to chase him into the woods. Fox, she couldn't have helped that. She basically had to stay back and smooth things over while we went down there, me and Silver Streak and Six Gun. Six Gun put so many bullets into Mr. Styx. I thought he was going to fall apart, but he just stayed together. He was just basically a part green glowing energy and torn meat by the time we had caught up to him and put the works to him, and he was still up, and then finally there at the end he just pukes it all up, pukes up skull and brain and bone into a huge gory pile, and then his body just reverts. He's just a mildly green man in outdated clothes once again, and he's like, what the hell happened? And yeah, I'm sorry, but a super team doesn't come back from that, like Styx's shit ruined us. We were slated for like some big things together. I think we were going places, and like I accidentally killed some folks, and I didn't. That was ugly. Silver Streak, he didn't want to talk about it, and I didn't want to talk about it, and everybody just kind of drifted apart real quick. We made up later, but it's never been the same, right? A group doesn't come back from that. And now
It is understandable.
And now somebody's targeting us, presumably for a 30-year-old, maybe. I mean, if Styx has even anything to do with it, we put a lot of people down, but I can't help but feeling Styx does, like this is Styx's thing.
Can you give us more information about the person that was killed?
Sure, I think he was some gangster. What was his name? I think that one. Okay.
Let me make up one real fast.
Kent Friendly.
I want to do some look up on the
He was a hitman. Can you
do
believe that?
research and see if the hitman has any ties to Fox. Like, did the hitman have any family?
I mean, somebody had to be paying for that nursing home, I guess. It was a pretty swank gig.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get at. There's some kind of ties there, and not too long after this, so I want to see if there's any kind of tie-ins between the hitman and Fox or anybody else, even a circuitous route type thing.
All right. Is there anything else I can tell you?
If you could think of anything else, just get in touch with us, please.
Sure. Are you guys working with the cat?
Yes.
Oh. Huh. I heard he had retired, really. Like, is he okay?
Yeah. He likes to take certain people out for group exercises, bonding exercises.
Like, he's like, I mean, but he looks down across the bed. He's like, is he okay in the, like, he's pretty old. Like, he's ragged. Like, when I saw him, he had like tufts of hairs falling out. He had that bow-legged cat arthritis look about him.
He looks fine.
He looks pretty healthy now. He's on a steady diet of whiskey and cigarettes.
Oh, that's good to know. He was a firm fixture here when I first started, and then he just sort of like, oh, I think eventually they put him, or he went to the home,
I don't think it's a new one. I think it's the same cat, and he looks younger than what you're describing.
Well, that's cool power to have, I guess. Good luck, and for my family's sake, I hope you're able to find this killer. Do you even have any ideas who it is? Did anybody put any eyeballs on him?
I would just be careful, and if you see or hear anything from Fox, let us know immediately and be wary.
Okay, will do.
Okay, then get well.
He says, yeah, have a nice day. He escorts you. You basically guys leave the room, and you see the guy, Blue Bolt has like just a sort of like a real gloomy, far away look in his eyes, despite him feeling like better on the bones forefront. Where are you going from here?
Were we still going to investigate Mr. Styx? See if he had any information about who chopped him to pieces?
Put any feelers out. See if we can find out anything about where the Mystic Art group kind of hangs out.
You hear a voice across your comms, Adam. Yeah, I heard all that. You just ignore like all that shit he was saying about me. Like, I was down for a while, but I got better. I'm fine. But you are in luck, since you're in Colorado. You should be able to find someone pretty easy right there at the base. Hopefully, that's still alive. Let me see. I'll see who I can hook you up with. Just step outside, have a look around, and I'll see if I can find someone who can aid you. Excuse me, guys.
So who else are our leads? We got Fox, we got Mr. Styx. Those are the same members of the team. But there's no guarantee that this killer is actually from the team or an antagonist of the team. He might have just stumbled across a team and is tracking him down. I'm fucking, my brain ain't working on this, man.
Let me see. Hold on. Sorry.
I am not a fucking detective, and I've never been. So that's why I didn't make a detective.
That's fine. It's fine. Like, I'm just trying to feel out what you guys' strengths are during the campaign. So,
Punching
smashing.
stuff.
Beat
Yeah.
'em up.
Rescue missions.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, don't worry. This will definitely turn into that shortly.
This will eventually be a rescue mission. Or we'll just follow a string of murders around forever. Be one of those campaigns where we all always show up just after the person's dead.
Let's
Damn
see.
it again.
Well, we are idiots.
All right.
You're bad at this.
But we were available.
You get a message back from Adam shortly. He's like, "Yeah, okay, so none of the supernatural folks are still around Colorado right now, but I can get you to one if you just follow this address and don't ask any questions. Don't worry, this has nothing to do with us."
All right.
He gives you the address, and you see it's someplace in New York. It's just a street.
I'll use GPS
Yeah.
and get the closest electrical phone lines.
All right. Electrical phone lines put you out next to next to you're an old school porn theater or porn shop with the peeping booths and things like that. Like one of the few still in business down there. And you see the flashing lights around the corners of the police, and you can hear the sounds of like investigation going on around the corner from you. And you hear a voice from behind you go, "Hello, Crusaders of Justice, I take it.
Hello, disembodied voice.
I'm up here, actually." You hear the voice very clearly, despite it being about 3 stories up on the roof. You see a man in a top hat and a billowing cape, wearing sort of like Edwardian clothes. His eyes are the only really thing visible. Sort of they glow redly, and he just sort of steps off the edge of the building and sinks slowly to the ground. "I'm Dr. Haunt. How can I help you?"
Hello, Dr. Hunt. I am Cyber Squatch, East Coast Crusaders.
He nods and looks around and says, "You've got a lot of tragedy in your history, Mr. Cyber Squatch. It's a shame I wasn't there to see it."
Okay, we're just gonna gloss right over that. And we are interested to speak with Mr. Styx, if that is at all possible from your sphere of influence.
"I haven't seen Styx in years, unless you're looking for Paracelsus. Paracelsus, I take it."
Yes, that was the name.
Not exactly on good terms with the fellow. Not exactly on good terms with anyone, as far as I know. He is not. But he is incredibly learned and powerful, of that there is no doubt. I wouldn't trust him if I were you, but if you need to see him, I suppose I can get you there.
Be most helpful. Thank you.
I'm going to need a corpse.
I'm sorry?
A corpse. A body that is dead. A person that is no longer alive. No, it doesn't have to be a person per se, just something sizable.
So, like,
Oops,
if I go to
indeed.
the grocery store and I get you a turkey,
Too small, I'm afraid.
Slab of beef.
Too small, I'm afraid. It needs to have the skull intact.
Okay, well, this is New York in 30 years or 15 years from now, so we can
6 years from now.
Is it 6 years? Jesus.
Yes, 2030 is 6 years from now.
Okay. All right. So yeah, this is New York 6 years from now. So we could probably just walk up and down the one of these alleys and find someone who was deceased.
What?
I mean, if
oh,
you
I
see,
don't what.
you see his gloved hand go over his shoulder, and he said, "If you're daring, you can go get one from around the corner where all the cops are."
Does it need to be human?
Not necessarily, but a higher order vertebrate would be nice.
Oh, okay. Actually, let's see. I will try to go through and see if I can find any kind of information for
those
dead.
gorilla pieces.
Yeah, well, we'd have to go there and deal with the cops and stuff.
Hmm.
Well, I can go get one. I can turn myself invisible and teleport in and grab it back out.
What does this guy need a fucking body for?
Is that in character?
Yeah.
Dr. Haunt turns to you and says, the portal to get to Paracelsus's hidden fortress is unfortunately rather specific. You need to go to the realm of the dead, and to create a gate to the realm of the dead, one must go through the dead. Do you follow?
Nope. Can I roll initiative? Or not initiative. Insight? Nope. 7. I believe him.
All right.
I just don't like the idea of us using anybody.
Expertise, mystic knowledge.
You use your knowledge of the mystic workings, and you realize that it probably doesn't have to be a fresh corpse, but he's right in that if the spell specifically calls for a corpse, it would usually means a complete corpse that is mostly skin on.
Okay, well, excuse us 1 second before we commit to any particular actions. How much do we want to speak to Paracelsus, the sorcerer? I mean, is it that important? I mean, I know a lead is a lead, but
You see while you're talking, you at the end of the alley, you see Dr. Haunt like looking at his gloves, and he starts picking like little bits of something off him. Like, you haven't seen the guy's face yet. He's literally just a glowing pair of eyes under a top hat with a high collar. So his expression is largely inscrutable.
I mean, if we don't have any other way to get this information that we need, we're gonna have to find a corpse.
Well, actually, I'll just call. Let's contact our cat friend
All right.
and see what he thinks.
You call across the comms.
I don't know if mice are gonna cut it.
You call across the comms, and you hear they come in like really fuzzy and crackled. Adam's voice is fuzzy and disty. He's like, I see you found the fellow we're looking for. You guys sound like shit on this end.
Same.
Yeah, these magic types, they kind of fuck up technology a little bit, depending on how powerful they are. Mr. Haunt, he's not exactly like on our side. He's not a member of the Crusaders. He's like a guy I know.
how well do you know him?
I know him well enough to know that he's not gonna dick you around, but he is gonna ask for some fucking creepy shit generally. What does he want?
A
A
corpse.
body.
Ah, okay. That's all right. How fresh?
We could
Skin on.
Yeah, we could probably get one from a funeral home or a morgue, but there isn't a few nearby.
Listen, okay, this guy got in addition to liking creepy stuff, he's got a creepy sense of humor. Like, the more you think about this stuff, the more creeped out you are, the more he enjoys it. Let's not give him what he wants here. We're just trying to get what we want. I need you to head down to the fish market and find yourself the biggest salmon you can.
That's
Or
a good
maybe-
idea.
That's fine.
Or maybe something a little bigger. A sturgeon, maybe.
Marlin.
Yeah, Marlin. That's what I was thinking of.
Good idea. Yeah, head on there, find some frozen fish in an intact kind of way.
Okay, I'll bring that up on the web and then do a quick search for fish markets. Actually, I'll do fish markets anywhere in the continental United States.
Well, you've got one of the biggest one right there, Fulton Fish Market right there.
Yep.
Jeff, why didn't I ask a chance to fly out to the ocean and fist fight a shark?
Yes, you get numerous options. You can find frozen marlin, fresh shark, probably some of the biggest tunas and sea bass and salmon you've ever seen, all available. Adam tells you, just put it on the company card. Oh boy.
That is a much better idea than I had.
And I
Mr.
think it's kind of funny. Get him a fish.
Mr. Haunt says, I'll be waiting here. I'm still dining. See you soon.
I'm
As you
assuming
guys-
he's a vampire.
Or an energy vampire, or a grief eater, or something.
Adam pops in and says he feeds on horror. Like, the worse the situation is, the more he draws from it. I'm not sure what he does with it or how, but he'll be lurking around in the background of like many a fucked up situation. Thank God he doesn't show up on cameras,
All right, let's go get our corpse.
or at least anymore.
Anybody want to go fishing?
Mhm.
What do you guys pick? You guys getting what kind of fish do you guys pick?
The biggest?
Biggest, yeah.
Well, the biggest available is probably shark.
Shark.
I'll actually summon a boat. We'll go out and we'll go fishing.
Okay.
I think it'd be more times.
I don't
Just
care.
to go buy one.
I'm just okay. Let's go kill something. Let's go kill a fish. Find a shark that's going to eat somebody, save their life, and kill the shark and take it.
All right. Short cutaway. Jersey Shore, 9 p.m. A bunch of people are out there 11 p.m. A bunch of people are out there skinny dipping, teenagers, when suddenly a shark lunges out of the water, about to bite into a young man who looks like he was about to put the moves on his girlfriend, when suddenly a foursome of superheroes appear out of nowhere and beat the hell out of a shark. The naked teens thank you profusely, and as you disappear with a yeah, okay, and head back to New York.
Don't forget protection.
I wanted to fight the shark. Let's roll initiative.
I'm not doing a shark combat with you.
I want a Sharknado attack.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not doing a shark combat with you tonight. I promise you, at some point in the campaign, Joker, though, we'll have a shark fight.
You will get to fist fight a shark.
You will get to
Street sharks, though.
Yeah, it will be totally jawsome.
Big jacked
I was saving the totally jawsome for when it happened, but
That's only if it's a street shark. Does that apply, though?
11:15. The streets of New York, near now the taped off area of a violent crime. A figure in a Edwardian dress, a top hat, and a cape with glowing red eyes looks at his fob watch and sort of sighs, and then suddenly a portal opens up and a massive shark flops down at his feet. Well, I suppose it does fit what I asked for. It's gonna be tricky, though. Most of these bones are cartilaginous. He looks over at you. I had to make this difficult.
I have a little smile on my face.
He grabs the shark by the back fin and begins dragging it further in the alley. It's going to have to stay up for a bit. Yeah, this is your way there and back. He pulls a tooth out of the shark's maw and hands it to whoever is nearest to him. Let's say it's bubblegum. Here you are, my dear.
I let him drop it into my open palm.
This will summon the portal once again. He drags the fish and slides it up against the brick wall of an alley and begins muttering an incantation. Soon the world is filled with a hellish red light. The shark carcass splits and all of its innards slop out onto the ground, revealing through the massive hole, a circular hole that has been created out of the shark parts, the shark body, a gloomy landscape. He points in the distance, that mountain there, right there on top. That's where Paracelsus stays. You can't open the thing any closer, and there are several dangers along the way. There are spirits here that are restless and angry. So try not to die, or if you do it badly. He gestures for you to walk in.
And I do, in my best gimmicky voice, off to see the wizard. And then traipse along doing my little side dance down the yellow brick road.
All right.
Yo, Bubblegum will join. Good times.
Okay, thank you very much for your assistance. We'll be back as soon as we can.
Don't worry. I'm sure I will think of something you can do for me in return.
Have fun.
Cosmic Knight, you're the last one outside.
I follow suit. I don't have to talk to this guy anymore.
You follow suit, and as Cosmic Knight steps through, you can see the shimmering portal into the real world sort of melt away behind you in a pool of shark effluence. It leaves nothing behind but blood and steam. And here in this dark area, this vast landscape where the sky is gray-black, there are no plants except for dead ones, and a mountain range in the distance, you begin to hear moaning, a droning kind of ever-present wail of despair and agony howling across the landscape. This is the realm of the dead, the restless dead, where ghosts who have been exorcised go, where spirits who had no eternal home, where creatures too unnatural and insane to exist in physical reality make their eternal suffering basically just everyone else's business.
Okay, weapons check. I check my weapon systems.
You check your weapon systems. You and Defrag notice something immediately. You have no connection to any kind of communication networks, period. Your comms are not working because they cannot communicate via the satellites that are no longer on this plane.
My Bluetooth?
Uh,
No more Bluetooth?
No, Bluetooth
Bluetooth.
works locally.
No.
Yeah, you have to switch to local channel. Is what I'm telling you.
Your podcast that you were listening to about 90s movies just cuts out immediately.
Spotify, I hope you downloaded the playlist you like because you cannot hear.
It's called Bacon and Bacon. People eat different bacons from across the world while they talk about Kevin Bacon movies. It's phenomenal.
As you begin moving your way towards the mountain that Dr. Haunt indicated, your steps echo and crunch. They're loud and quiet at the same time. Like, this place has nothing but fucked up acoustics. But those acoustics are somewhat helpful to you as you hear a distant or perhaps close rumbling coming from directly ahead of you. The ground begins to shake under your feet, and the sky itself seems to grow darker in a line, as if something is both uprooting the ground and the clouds at the same time through some unknown means. It comes to you rapidly. And then as it's almost to you, you can feel your teeth begin to rattle as this rumbling continues. You are suddenly faced with an explosion of debris coming up from the ground and an explosion of dark clouds billowing out from the sky. And out of this darkness and debris, you see a pale, hideous, worm-like creature with a humanoid face burrow its way up and begin screaming, "Mother!" as it begins to attack. Then we roll initiative.
Okay. It's not a shark fight, but it's a worm fight. Are we talking Shai-Hulud size worm, or are we talking
not quite that big, but let's say it's about
Saturnalian sandworm?
Yeah, let's go with that. That sounds about right. It's very, very similar. It's
Very
like a
juice.
like a semi truck sized maggot with a human face.
It's going to be one of those fun nights for me.
You know, might be scarier is if it was a human with a maggot face.
Ugh. Just a normal guy with a maggot face.
Just a normal dude with a maggot face.
Like eating a sandwich.
Yeah.
Like a single maggot or just full of maggots?
Just a single maggot face.
I don't think they have faces. do
Everything
they?
has a face, Frakes. Don't be stupid.
Yeah, how do you put stuff in your face hole if you don't have a face?
Amoebas don't have faces.
Do they
Yeah,
eat?
and they don't have a face hole either.
They absorb. Does a starfish have a face?
I hope so.
Yeah, it's where its butthole is.
Yeah, got a butthole face. It's different.
It's a butthole face.
The butthole face hole. At any rate, so yeah, next time we'll pick up there. Thanks for playing tonight. I got to get up at 4 a.m, so we're gonna not do a combat. I'm very sorry.
Oh,
So I rolled my initiative for no reason.
I
Fun.
know it was
I-
good too.
I'll
I'm
forget what it is next week. Perfect.
I'm saving my. I put my notes. I wrote.
That's fine. Put it in your notes. Like I said, I got to get up at 4 a.m. I'm sorry, guys. But tonight's issue was called the. Let's see what I have it down as. The Edge of the Unknown. And
So
we're
it
gonna
was
start-
Edge of Insanity was part 1, and then Edge of Unknown was part 2.
Yes, it is.
This is the
Slid it
edge.
on
The edge arc.
Yes, it is the Edge arc, the Edge Lord arc.
Mm.
So this episode is called the Edge of the Unknown. We're gonna start a new feature here where we someone in the group describes what the cover of this issue looks like, and you guys want to roll randomly for it, or does someone have an idea?
Random it is.
All right.
And
Pick a
don't
number.
roll me.
Stormy.
Let's see. Up. All right, so Toker, you're number 1, Frakes, you're number 2, Mahogany 3, Jeff 4. And I'm rolling 4. Sorry, Jeff. What does the cover of this issue look like? It's not gonna do it, huh?
I got you. But
Yeah.
but I'll pan it off on you one of these other days.
Well, all I got in my head is kind of like a Jaws frame where you like the signature Jaws bone.
Oh, the mouth open.
Yeah. And through that, so like you see in the New York cityscape around it, it's like in an alley, you see that little Jaws thing, and then through the Jaws, you see the mystic background of the plane behind it with the mountain in the distance.
All right.
And you see us kind of like in reference to my Yellow Brick Road reference. All of us are actually done in Yellow Brick Road and Wizard of Oz themes.
Okay.
So, Cowardly Lion, Cyber
Nope.
Squatch,
Don't like it. Don't
Cosmic
like it at
Knight,
all.
Tin Man, Bubblegum, Dorothy.
I'll allow it.
That makes you the Scarecrow.
Yep.
Or Toto. I guess Adam Cat could be Toto.
That could be Adam.
Yeah.
All right, that's great. I like it. And thanks for listening, everybody. Make sure you check out our socials and our links
That
and
was
our.
really good, Jeff.
Yeah, you didn't want
Yeah,
to
that
get
wasn't
picked.
bad.
I was just gonna say it was an exasperated evil wizard as the 4 of us stood in a circle and talked about sharks. That was gonna be my cover image.
That's the variant cover that you get after ordering 10 issues.
Yeah, the comedy cover.
All
I
right.
kind of was thinking Bob was a comedy cover with us as the Wizard of Oz theme.
Yeah, but I like that one.
Yours is good.
Yeah, yours is a lot better than mine. It's just
All
a
right.
top hat with glowing eyes.
All right.
Well, we all gave one. Now Mahogany give one.
No.
All right, bye everybody.
Good night.